Hello. I had a little bit of problem getting online there for a minute. Tonight, we're talking about something that's very human, the fact that we live at a time, and as people who are wanting to always show up and always be self aware, we find ourselves having normal human experiences, uh, concerns, very strong feelings. And those feelings can be such that we find ourselves needing to get into our day, do what we do, live our commitments and responsibilities, and show up as our best self. So, what we're going to talk about tonight is how to be self aware and also develop those kind of ways of managing moments, times when being our best self needs some thought, some planning. And as I said in my short, I show up no matter what's going on as my best self. Excuse me while I clear my throat. What is your best self? Do you know who your best self is? Do you know when you think about, I'm going to be my best self, what does that look like? How does it show up for you? Not what other people think about you or how they want you to be present, but how do you, excuse me, how do you describe your best self? Is it you have a great smile? Is it you pay attention to what other people need and want? Is it you have a way of making other people really comfortable because you remember things about them? Because you always have a glow, a warmth. That's what we're talking about. You knowing your best self so that you bring your natural gifts into the moment and you make the moment work for you, even when you've got things going on that are really important and really serious to you. Knowing your best self is what you use as the way you step into life, because life is always going to bring you opportunities to walk into the room. And for those things that might be on your mind to be something that's not going to be a part of the moment in the room. And I decided to give you some examples. And if any of you have some suggestions for where we could take that conversation about how to be in the room where it happens and be your best self, put it up there and we can talk about it. So, because we are moving into fall, into Thanksgiving, I know it's still August, but Thanksgiving is one of those times when relationships that are complicated can show up in the room. And you need to walk into that room and be ready for whatever is going on and whomever is going to be there. Here's another one. You've got a flight in the morning at 6 a.m., but tonight you've got to go to your child's basketball game and sit up in the bleachers when you haven't packed and you are needing to show up at your destination ready to conduct a meeting. You bring your best self, right? I got another one, another example. You're sitting in a meeting and you're the only person in the room that knows that the company is being sold. And you have the responsibility of conducting that meeting with your best skills, your best focus. I'm sure that there's a gazillion different examples of times when you have to walk into the room and you've got to be ready for whatever is going to happen in that room. And it's not about you. And it's not about how you're feeling. It's not about the things that you've got to deal with when you go home or that happened before you got in the room. So let's break it down. How do you prepare yourself for the situation? Let's look at how you get ready. One of the things that I think we take for granted when we're getting ready to handle a situation is how do we look and how do we sound? Getting ready to be in the room where it happens can mean you take some time in front of the mirror. You look at yourself. You like what you see. You prepare by being comfortable. You prepare by making sure that your eyes are clear and sparkling and that you're ready to walk in with that tone of voice that you're most comfortable with, that tone of voice that is soothing for the other people and soothing for yourself. When and where you enter and how you enter is important. But let's get into the preparation. Why are you going to be in that meeting? Why are you going to that gathering with the family? What's expected of you? Do you know? How long are you going to be there? If you don't know why you're going, can you ask somebody before you go so that you're clear about what it is you're supposed to accomplish? What's the desired outcome? And who all is going to be there that you're very comfortable being in their presence so that you can go stand by them. You can go kind of get yourself focused by talking and chatting and checking out what's going on in the room. And are there going to be people there or topics that are going to come up that you would rather not get involved with? Be prepared with a one-liner. And we're going to talk about some one-liners that you can use if you find yourself facing a person or a subject that you have chosen. That was one of my notes dropping to the floor. So we talked about being prepared. We talked about the fact that it's human and it's normal to have some things going on in your life that you're going to put aside for the time that you're in this situation. So let's walk into the situation now. You've decided who your best self is for this time. You know how long you're going to be there. You know what's expected of you. You are ready to be around the people that you're comfortable with. And you also kind of have a feeling for how you're going to leave this situation. These are some of the tips, some of the things that you've known over all the different years where you've been in and out of different situations. But when you've got some things weighing heavy on you, when you are dealing with some sleepless nights, when you've been really thinking about something very different than what you're going into this room for, here's some basics. Listen. Give yourself permission to just listen and make eye contact. Make eye contact as you are listening and as you are deciding how much you understand about what's being said. Or, and this is something that happens really often, you realize that you know more than anybody else in the room about the subject that's being talked about. That's one thing that you might learn. Or you realize you don't know anything about what's being talked about and that you're cool with that because you don't have to perform. You just need to get from this moment in time through it and then out the door. I know these sound very basic. The reason Miss Ruth is walking you through this is because under stress, when you got a lot of other stuff going on in your world, some of this stuff goes out the window. Listen, make eye contact, use your nice, pleasant voice, and give compliments where they are honest and when they're well-deserved. Compliments are one of the greatest ways to let people feel seen and heard and valued. Make gratitude statements. Gratitude for that are genuine and appropriate, but gratitude statements that say, this is good. I'm good. Thank you. This is all going very smoothly. And allow yourself to fully engage with the people who are there in front of you. Fully engage is a wonderful, wonderful way to be in the moment with people who are there with you to share the time with you. Now, you know, Miss Ruth is always about one-liners. You can be fully engaged, but you can also be really prepared with those one-liners when people ask you questions or want to take a conversation in a direction that either you're not prepared to go or you've chosen not to open up in this setting. Here's the one-liner, you guys. I'm giving that more thought. Not ready to talk about it right now. They're going to let you be there with that. Another one is to use with people who are tending to want to pull you into a conversation where you've been before. And that's the one that we use a lot, where you say, I know that that's how you feel about that. Yeah, I know how you feel about that. I know you see it that way. I see it a little differently, but I get your point. Then there's the one that helps the people around you who are enjoying your presence feel seen and validated. You always make things flow so perfectly. Thank you. Thank you. I really am enjoying this time with you. There's something else that I want to say here. There are situations that life brings that you can decide you're not going to go. You've been there, done that. And they used to say, I've been there, done that, and I got the t-shirt. So here's the Miss Ruth one. I do not go to Super Bowl parties. I've tried it. I've tried using all the things that I just said up there. And yet I decided I like football. I like watching a whole football game. I like watching a whole football game without constant chatter. I like watching a football game when I'm not having to act like the people talking like they know everything about the game, the teams, and what they should be doing when it's quite obvious they don't. So, yes, Miss Ruth can be a snob about certain things. And I'm saying it to give you permission to say, I just dropped by just to say hi, tell everybody hello. I'm going to go home and watch the game now. There are still one-liners, my people, where you can be comfortable being your best self and also enjoying your time with people or alone or with a small select group of people who enjoy the same things you do. And those are usually those moments where you still got stuff on your mind, but the moment is yours to facilitate, where people are coming over to your house. They're going to be there a certain period of time. They know your routine in your house. They're comfortable in your house. They make themselves at home. Or you've invited people out. They know it's your favorite restaurant. They know what the menu is. And you already know them and how they're going to be with you. What's this all about, Miss Ruth? Why? Why are you taking us down this path? I'm taking you down this path, my dears, because life is always going to be offering you situations where you have to show up in a room and you have to be your best self. And being your best self means being mindful, means coming up with ways to get in it, through it, and out of it. And for it to have been a situation where you've reached your goals, you've achieved what you set to accomplish. And then you can get back to those things that you got to focus on. Getting that 6 a.m. flight, thinking about what you're going to say tomorrow in that meeting, knowing that you are able to roll in, through, and out of situations. And that while you're doing it, you are leveling up for what's next. Those moments of being mindful, those moments of having planned how you're going to be your best self and showing up to do it, are moments when all that stuff that's been rolling around in your head, all of those thoughts that have felt heavy and urgent, and where your attention has been there, has also been stress producing. What happens when you take your mind and your body and your energy out of those stress-related and nervous system activating places inside, you begin to recalibrate. You find that after you've laughed, after you've engaged with people, after you've done a good job by representing as a parent in the bleachers at the basketball game, that you come out and you realize, wow, I kind of feel like I'm ready to see this thing for a little differently. I'm starting to recognize that maybe I can take a little more time and come up with some different decisions. Maybe I feel a little bit lighter and a little bit more balanced because I stepped away from that deep thought, that challenging situation. Maybe my best self guided me in a way that relieved some of the sense of heaviness about what's facing me. Maybe that as I began to live my best self, show my best self in a mindful, intentional way, I've leveled myself out. I've found a way to breathe, to know that I can relax, and that I'm ready to move forward in those things that I can master, that I do master. And I know that I can use this affirmation for whatever is next when I have to show up as my best self, because I know how to do it. I know how to roll in the rhythm of my peace and my clarity, and I bring it when I need it. And so it is. Stay in tune with Miss Ruth. Give me your feedback. Give me your suggestions for other things that you would like for Miss Ruth to bring to you. I'm going to start giving you more affirmative statements in addition to my one-liners. Check me out with your comments and your questions on Miss Ruth Wisdom. That's MS Ruth Wisdom at gmail.com. So I'll see you next time. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for all the ways that you let me bring my best self to this Miss Ruth Wisdom moment. Thank you.